Okay. All
Yes,
right.
yes.
Okay.
Now it
Yeah.
has started.
Okay. Thank you. Thank you for that. All right. Going back. So as all of us saw, isn't it beautiful? It gives so much of clarity that situation is not almost always neutral, right? As Amit also said, Amit may be a problem for me because he's Amit. Right? Every time I think of Amit, oh no, Amit is coming, right? And another person may be jumping in joy because it's Amit. Amit is the same, but as a person, somebody might view him as a problem for some reason. So now I want to ask you guys this question. Do you guys have problems in life? Put it in chat box, yes or no. Yes, from one. How about the rest of you? Do you have problems in life? Yes or no? Put it in chat box, please. Yes, yes, okay. Yes, yes, yes. Okay, and yes. All right, yes. Okay. So I guess there is no, thankfully, which is true. We all have some form of problem or the other. So now I have a small exercise. Please, all of you, I want you to have a paper and pen or a notebook and pen, and I want you to do this activity with me. I'm going to give you guys 5 minutes. I want you to write down your problems. But here is the task how to do it now that we understood the real definition. So make 3 columns and put one situation, one people, and the other as things. And whichever problem fits into whichever column, write that down under that. And then next to that, write it which one has to be dealt with, which one has to be solved according to you. And this is not necessarily for sharing, this is for you. So please honestly write down whatever you think are your problems. Everybody clear? 3 headings under which you are going to put briefly your problems and then also put what is solvable and what is just to be dealt with. You have to figure out how to deal with. Try to put down at least 3 problems down. Okay, if it is more, great, but at least 3. And once you are done in the chat box, please put done. Once you're done, please put done in the chat box so that I can move on. Yeah, I have 4 or 5 already said. All right, one. Hey, Vanshika is here. Wasn't it Vanshika who said,
Yeah, yeah. She, no, her meaning was she didn't have the link. So when I have put the link, immediately she joined.
okay. So Vanshika, question for you. Usually you would have received the calendar invite. If you have not received, please reach out to me after the webinar. I just want
Okay,
to
ma'am.
understand. Thank you.
Sure, ma'am.
Thank you. All right. Good to see you, Vanshika. Okay. Most of you done? I think I'm just waiting for Amit and Sanjay. Amit is also done. All right. So let's move forward, guys, and let's see what we want to do with this, right? Now, question number 2 is, do you guys think that there is a way for us to be prepared for problems in life? Why preparation? Preparation is like a plan. Failing to prepare will definitely lead us to prepare for failure. And the similar thing is said actually for planning, right? So definitely preparation should be possible, but how many of you feel some amount of preparation is possible and how many of you feel not possible? I'm not saying 100% of the time, but most of the time. Possible, okay? Anybody who feels not possible? Possible to an extent, correct? Because there are some circumstances in life that are totally beyond our imagination. So I'm not asking for those ones. They always hit us as a surprise. But there again, we'll talk about a few things that you all can do. Excellent. So most of us feel there is some amount of possibility. Now, one of the things, if we have to prepare for problems in life, we have to be proactive and stop being reactive. Problem comes and then we start thinking how to deal with it is reactive. Proactive is already imagining what all may go wrong. And this, of course, the list becomes better with experience. The more you have heard, the more you have dealt with in life, you can start imagining things. Oh my God, in this case, what all can go wrong? And then accordingly, you can prepare yourself. The simplest preparation you need to do for anything is plan A should always have a plan B. So many people, if they are students level, I would say career, right? So you have a career in mind. If that career doesn't work out, what's your next option? Keep that in mind. I'm not saying many people say don't keep a second option because then that makes your commitment to the first option less. I don't necessarily agree with it. That's a separate session by itself. We can get into why I'm saying that that is not true. Uh, Still, you can be dedicated if you understand how to prioritize and how to create options in life. What does being proactive mean? I just wanted to put up this slide and give an idea for all of us. First, we should learn how to do risk assessment with some foresight. How are we going to assess the possible risks? Number two, once we know the possible risks, we should also have a contingency planning for that. Number three, rapid response. Now, the thing is, suppose you know sometime there might be fire and therefore you have kept a fire extinguisher. But if you don't keep checking that and train your people to use it, etc., you know that rapid response will not be possible. Still, if there is a fire, and even if you have a fire extinguisher, it can cause the harm that you do not want it to cause. And definitely learn from past experiences. How much ever foolproof our planning we want to do, sometime life gives us a googly and we are like, ouch, this is the only thing it seems I missed out. So keep adding the I missed out thing to the next planning, to your experiences of life, and get better at being proactive. How many of you are people who seem to see problems everywhere? Wherever you go, whenever you go, you always seem to observe problems. How many of you see this? Yes, in the chat box if you are, or I see, but you can put that in the chat box. And those who don't, you can say, I don't. I see or I don't. Rajesh says yes. Gururaj says I don't. Anshika don't. Arti don't. Mahesh don't. Solutions everywhere. I don't. But people who wear black hat, they see so many times. Yes. All right. So one tip here. If you are a person who seems to observe problems everywhere, you are definitely somebody who will be very good at becoming an entrepreneur or an innovator or somebody very creative, because if you don't see problems, you can't be thinking of possible solutions, right? Gururaj, Gururaj is a big smile,
Yeah,
right?
yeah, yeah, ma'am.
So
True. So you
now,
answered very proactively, ma'am.
right?
Yeah.
So now everybody almost wants to change their answers, right? So I did not say that you get troubled with the problems you see in the sense that you personally take everything as a problem, but you should be able to observe problem and you should be quickly thinking, as Amit very rightly said, black hats, of course, they see the problem, and then you should be able to think of what could be the possible solutions. Now, somebody like me, trust me, I read newspaper, immediately I'm thinking, oh, there, that kind of thing happened. Why didn't they actually take care of this? They should have done that. Prime Minister, I always joke with my friends, Prime Minister is just not asking me how to manage the country. Otherwise, I would have so many ideas. But frankly, most of those ideas come when I see things already going wrong around. People are throwing garbage. Immediately, I start thinking, why this problem cannot be sorted? Is this really such a big problem? Etc. etc. It is a problem, right? So looking for problems and finding problems, if you have that in you, trust me, that could be a good thing if you know what to do with it and not get bogged down by it, as they say. Okay. Now, as again Amit had mentioned right in the beginning, and Sanjay already said in the chat box, see, if you just look at the problem and carry it and just talk about it and crib about it, then you're like the first guy out there, just holding the whole problem on your head, doing nothing about it. There is another person who is like on top of the problems and has converted the problem into opportunity. Here, I would like to actually give a real life example from my life. I was absolutely like young person, 19, 20-year-old, getting into my first job. But before that, I used to like writing on different topics. And one of the topics that I had picked up, because imagine this was 1991 and the Gulf War had just happened in January. And I used to write on current topics. So the title of my write up was called Gulf War Opportunity for India. Now, Gulf War was a huge problem. People were like, oh no, war has happened. And here I'm thinking, wow, what a great opportunity, because rebuilding Gulf could be a huge opportunity for India if we tap into it. And you know what happened? That paper got selected from my organization to be presented as a suggestion or representation from my organization to the government. And government took it up and it converted that into a policy and created incentives for Indian companies to bid for rebuilding Gulf. And it became a huge thing. I did not even get the credit for it. That's a different thing. But, it gave me a lot of self-confidence that the way I look at it works and matters and is practical. So this is the example for looking problem and converting problem into an opportunity. Now, I talked about the topic as creative problem solving. So let us very quickly understand what is creative thinking in the first place. Now, there are two kinds of thinking that most of us would have heard. One is called critical thinking and one is called creative thinking. And many times people get very confused. Problem solving, is it not the left brain thing? Should it not be critical thinking? How is creative thinking coming in its place? So let's understand first the difference between the two kinds of thinking. Creative thinking is thinking out of the box, something that has never happened. You are like acting like a small kid in a dream world, and you're imagining things happening not from things that you have observed in your life. That is creative thinking, and that is what allows you to generate new ideas that have never been thought of. So, what do you do most of the time for doing this? You ask, you have seen children, there are so many questions. They are not happy to hear from you that, this is paper. They will say, why is this called a paper? Who gave the name to paper that it is paper? Why can't paper be called pencil? And at some time as adults, we say, just can you shut up and just listen to me when I'm saying this is called paper? but actually they are creative little walking, talking things. They are amused by everything that they are seeing, and they have loads of questions that they're asking, which is very logical according to them. Why is 2 plus 2 4? Right? Those kind of thing. Yeah, but somebody should ask that. That's creative thinking. They are people also who like to brainstorm. Why? Suppose I have an idea that is completely out of the box. I'm also keen to know, I feel it's very practical. I want to talk to other people. What do they think about my idea? Now, sometimes my idea may need a little fine tuning to make it practical. When I talk to people, actually that fine tuning happens when I see it from 5 different perspectives. So people should brainstorm solutions if you are creative kind of person who has creative thinking and would love to improvise. You are inspired. You are inspired with things, including problems that you see, etc. Critical thinking is actually something that is very logic-based, experience-based, and you're using that to judge what you are seeing. For example, is this good? Is this bad? When something happens, if you immediately say, oh my God, this happened, that means that is your critical brain talking, that's bad. Then your creative brain can kick in and say, okay, how can I make the most of this bad situation? Am I clear? Everybody understands the difference, the slight difference, okay, between the two. Now let's go into, we always hear every problem has a solution. But in the previous definition, sometimes the solution may be to avoid certain people and situations. You have solved it for you. You have not changed the problem. Some persons are energy vampires, they are called. Okay. So just when you know that they are your energy suckers, don't go out and try to change them unless they want you to help them change. Just move yourself away and protect your energy. So you can, some people are a problem in your life, but you need to deal with them. You just can't wish them away. Then you just prepare your mindset, as again Amit said in the beginning, what mindset? That let me not look at them as a problem. It is my responsibility. It is something like yesterday I met a person who has come from Florida to visit his ailing, aged parents in Mysore. And in the conversation, I said that it is so nice to, because he said he will stay here for 6 to 7 months. So I said, it is so nice to see you come and be with your parents at this time. And he quickly responded, it is not like I am here to help them and I am doing anything great. I want to do what is right for me to do. They were there for me all through my life. Now I want to be there with them. And in this precious time, I want to have those memories. I want to have my conscience clear. I'm doing it for myself and not for them. Right? So this is like, it's not like, is it fun for him to leave his job and his family and come here? No, it's not. He's taking the trouble, but he is looking at it like, I have to deal with this and I would like to deal with it in the best possible manner. And that's a solution. Okay. Another form of solution is a breakdown happens in some technology, some company, some manufacturing process. There you need to mend it and correct it. You just don't deal with it. Car engine is, not behaving properly. You need to mend it before you take the car out again. So I am connecting, if some of you are thinking what happened to creative thinking, how to connect it to problem solving, I'm still coming to that, but I wanted to lay these layers clearly for you. What is problem solving and what are the 5 steps? Now, the first type says, first of all, we have to be absolutely clear about how do we want to define, but before that, you have to identify the problem. If some of us are not seeing the problem, that itself could be a problem. Am I with all of you? Right? So first of all, if there is a problem, we should have the ability to identify that there is a problem. You can't be blind to that. Then we should be able to define that problem. Then you should, in some cases, you may require to do root cause analysis. That is the analyzed part of it. look at what are the different ways or different options you have to deal with it that are creating alternatives. Then go to what is your plan, which alternative or which option are you going to pick that up and then implement it. Some people will say these are the 5 stages. Now I'll take you to the next slide, which has another 5 slide, and I purposefully kept both because according to different situations, you may need different 5 steps. So there it was saying both are important though. So identifying problem will come before defining problem in this image. First, there is identify problem, define problem, then look for analysis is not there. Analyzing will come between number 1 and 2 here. If required, sometimes you know what, you don't need to analyze. Now, suppose I am diagnosed with cancer. What got me cancer really not important at this stage. Which stage are you in? How do you want to deal with it? What are the options available? You move on. So that analyzing part may not be required for certain kind of problems. But for certain kind of problems, root cause analysis may be important. Brainstorm solutions, that is like figuring alternatives, pick a solution, implement is correct. And a beautiful thing is here, which is about reviewing the results. Especially in organizations where we have SOPs, this piece is very important. And review, now suppose you feel that it did not give you the result that you anticipated, then you might have to again go back, implement the revised plan and keep doing it till you have solved that problem. And once you have figured what is the real solution to that problem, that should get into your SOP, standard operating a procedure. So that in future, other people who come to your place can always refer to that as a book which can tell them without going through actual things, they can actually learn from. Is everybody clear about these two? So always when you go to Google and say problem solving steps, they will say 5 steps and they give different 5 steps. So I just wanted to merge these things, and it may be a little more than 5. So don't get stuck at 5. It may be 7 to 8 steps, which is important. Now, this is a beautiful quote, okay? Who is this guy? Who can tell? Last time also you had the same guy in the webinar. Who is this? Anybody?
Einstein.
Yeah. Einstein, right. Right. So he says, I love this quote of his. I hope it's his quote. We cannot solve our problems with the same thinking we used when we created them. I thought this is so good because, yeah, if we are the same people who created the problem, we can't sit by ourselves, introspect, and try to always come out with possible solutions. Best way to get into that way of thinking new, using our creative hat would be, and for that, I'm going to show you 2 images and ask you what I'm going to say. So I'm going to show you 2 images. Watch it carefully. One image is this. Okay. Second image is this. What do you see in both of them that is common? 1, 2. Yes? 1.
Collaboration.
Absolutely. So one of the ways to go creative is to really collaborate, because you are saying, I don't want to keep thinking the way I was thinking, because I used my best hat possible and came up with something, and there seems to be a problem with that. So now when I want to find solutions, best way is to put every 5, 6 people's thinking, 10 people's thinking together, and then come out with something that is not any one person's thinking. And that obviously will be out of the box, very different approach. And that can be achieved by simple process of collaboration. And this has become a big hit with something that is called as design thinking. Involve everybody in the organization, if it's an organization or if it's a family, and actually look at defining the problem together and then finding solutions together, implement them together, review them together, and you will be in an awesome state. Okay. I'm going to end this webinar by giving all of you 3 specific tools for problem solving that you can use. This is called the 5 W's and 1 H framework. So whenever there is a problem, you can start with any 1 W, okay? So like you can ask, oh my God, what happened? When did it happen? Where did it happen? Who did it happen to? Oh my God, why did it even happen? How did it happen? Or how are we going to deal with this now? Now, this who, what, when can slightly change. Another example is who told us this happened. Can be also the who, right? So we have to use these 5 W's and 1 H to understand the problem with considering all its elements. All right, very simple. Once you have this, defining the problem correctly is 50% of your solution. So today, I'm not going to get into solution because each problem will have its own unique solutions. And we are talking about being creative. So there is no point in me telling you which problem should have what solutions. So let's look at how to do this. Now we talked about analysis and I used the word root cause analysis. So I'm going to talk about 2 specific frameworks used. One is called 5 whys. Anything that happens, ask why did that happen? Why did that happen? And here is an example to understand that better. So the problem was I ran through a red light. Now ask, why did I run through the red light? I was late for work. Why were you late for work? I woke up late. Why did you wake up late? Alarm didn't work. Why did the alarm didn't work? It exhausted battery. Why did the alarm battery get exhausted? Because I forgot to check it. So where is the root cause? That even if you are keeping an alarm, you need to make sure that whichever digital device is equipped with what it needs as a battery or whatever. So this may apply for any kind of problem, which is not too complicated. Okay, this is a fairly simple individualistic problems root cause analysis. This is organization, something a little more complex where many people are involved. And then you found that there is a impact or an effect. Like some customer says, I'm not happy with your product. This is fishbone diagram that you normally use. So if a problem is not okay, normally what can happen is blame game, what we call. Not me. He did that. He was supposed to do that. This starts happening. But for that not to happen and for all of us to really run through all the aspects that contributed to a product and then identifying where which aspect did not function the way it was meant to function, this is the fishbone diagram. So what we do is we look for people who worked on it. Do they have the required skills qualification? What could be the different problems with machinery? What could be the different problems through which we actually did the measurements or quality checks, etc. What materials did we use? Now, this particular chart is more for a manufacturing company, but trust me, you just keep the empty boxes and whichever industry you work for, you just put the main verticals of your industry and this would work. What was the climate in which, environment in which it was made, and what was the management doing? That is it from me today. And I just wanted to share the email ID and WhatsApp number in case you guys feel there is value to all these small little webinars we are doing. And you would like to actually check with us on what full-fledged courses do you have, what certificate courses do you have that can seriously help you to go forward in your career or your team. You want to engage us for training your team on something, you can just connect with us on either of these mediums. So with that, I would stop sharing, but I would like to take a minute to ask 5-10 minutes we have. Let me ask questions that come to you. Hey, Deepu, good to see you. You're looking even younger than before. Okay, how are you doing? So this is the beauty of stopping the screen sharing. Then I start seeing more people clearly. So good to see you guys. So questions. Are there any, no, you all said we have problems and we also had 3 problems listed out. You don't have to be specific about your problems. With what we discussed, can you apply one of the tools and try to see to any one problem? Like that's interesting. It's taking me somewhere. You may not be able to finish it, but at least if that helps, my request is keep that list and actually do this during this weekend and figure out if it actually helps you come to some kind of a solution. Thanks, Yoti. So yeah, so that's great. So anybody wants to ask any problem that they have, what could be the possible solution for that? Anything. It could be people, situation, or a thing. And you don't have to be too specific if you don't want.
So, ma'am, problem in multitasking.
Multitasking. You want to say something more on that? Sorry, I think I interrupted you.
Yeah. So, if we are well thorough or we are very experienced, we can handle it very easily. But when we are beginning into that, so multitasking is a big, mundane. So
Correct.
how to?
So my quick response to that, first of all, if we understand multitasking as at the same time doing multiple things, even if some of us can manage some of those things, bad idea. Overall, for efficiency long term, sustained efficiency, productivity, and human brain getting exhausted, it is not a good idea. But multitasking can also be meaning that within the same day, you have different tasks that you have to attend to. So there you are prioritizing the right task at the right time and giving the right time for each task is the real catch. And here, frankly, newcomers just don't know, first of all, how to use the to-do sheet. So just help them with must, should, could kind of to-do sheets. Then attack the must. And then in the must, you should never have more than 2 to 3 tasks in a day. Start with the must and there again, help them prioritize if they have 2, which one should be done first. And then again, what is the time they should allot? Because some tasks may take days together, but you may want them to get started with both the tasks today and work on it for 5 days. But what they do is they start with one and they don't get to attack the second one. So there, the seniors, the mentors may need to help them. But once they catch this, they can do multitasking better. Only other thing I would like to say, when we do certain kind of multitasking, there is one part of the brain which is a conscious brain, the frontal lobe. So basically, which helps us to be completely focused on a new situation and deal with it. This only one thing you can take up at a time. Now, yeah, you can, what a bad example that came to my mind, but I'm just going to say that you can smoke and you can drive. Because smoking needs no conscious, when to take the puff in and when to give the puff out, hopefully, right? So you don't need your conscious brain for that. But when you're driving, you do need, like listening to music. If you're going to sing the lyrics with the music while you're driving, trust me, could be dangerous. Don't do that. So just listen to some music that you can zone out and it's not a botheration. That's better because you are focused on the road and the people who are crossing the road, etc. So with multitasking, what is important is one, that is a part of your habit, taken care of your subconscious mind, and one can be where your conscious mind is engaged. Never two things where your conscious mind is engaged. Yeah?
Thank you.
So, thank you. Thank you, Guru. I saw a few other hands up. I forgot who it was. Can you please put your hands up again and let's call out one by one? Yes, Manshika.
Hello, ma'am.
Hi.
So, actually, I wanted to ask that how we should deal with energy vampires. Although you have already mentioned some of the points earlier, but still, I am not able to deal with them, and I have tried multiple things on them so that my energy could be saved, but nothing is possible.
Okay. So first question. Are those energy empires some individuals who are not necessary in your life, or are they part of your, say, for your family or your team in which you work or something like that?
They are part of the family you.
The first, okay, the part of that. So this is a little more difficult one, okay? So here again, what you need to do is drawing boundaries, we said. Okay, and it is like training the whole world how to deal with you. First, we should have clarity, what we want and what we don't want. Sometimes what happens, we try to behave in a different way than what we are thinking internally. So we are giving wrong signals to people that you're okay with this, then they will do that. And then you are complaining, why are you doing that, right? So many of us have that problem. We want to be nice and pleasing everybody, but then sometimes we are actually very sensitive to what they're doing, but not showing it at the right time or talking about it. So this could be one problem. Drawing boundaries basically means that you define how you want to be dealt with. And whenever people cross that line, as soon as possible, you tell them that in clear words without getting upset and angry. With a very calm voice in the right time, everything that is said to the right person in the right time, in the right way only works. So if they are angry at that time, you try to tell them, it is not going to work. Yeah, try to sit with them when they are not upset and put your point across that, when you do this, this is how it impacts me. So please, if I may request you, it's not about what you're saying, I don't want to hear, but please don't use that because that's like a trigger. It doesn't work for me.
Okay, ma'am.
Try that. And if you still struggle, maybe connect up with me one-on-one, okay? Because I need to
Sure.
understand better. Thank you so much. All right.
Thank you, ma'am.
Anybody else? Who's the other person? Okay. Who was it? Was it, okay, Zia. When we shift to any other area for any purpose, how to adjust with food and other language? Okay. All right. So this is about adaptability. Okay. So basically, yes, one of the reasons we feel the problem is because either a person or a situation is like a person is different from us. Actually, all of us are different from each other. But it's so funny that it's our human nature that we try to look for people who are similar to us. But actually, we have to learn to appreciate the differences between us, and we don't have to like everything about every other person. Right? And we have to know, like, okay, like, what are those things that we like about that person and appreciate that. And there will be certain other things you may not like, but that's what constitutes that person. Just leave them alone. You can't do anything about it. Right? So adaptability is about the, ability to live in situations that are not as per your expectations, including the place, the weather, the people, food, as you have rightly said, Rajesh. These take time, but that is why I'm a big, voter for all children should go to hostel for some time in their younger days, or should live outside of their comfort with parents, because that helps them understand and learn their adaptability much earlier. And once you have got it with you, it stays with you for life. For some people, it is nature. Some people, it's harder. Like some people need their same bed, their same pillow, believe it or not. Right? They carry their pillow. I'm talking about people who are in their 50s and 60s, for God's sake. They carry their own pillow, their own bed sheet, their own things because they can't. Okay, if you really feel that you cannot, then if you cannot manage with others cooking, learn to cook. And request them, with my system, it doesn't work, so I will need to, please don't mind, can I cook my own food? And in fact, I don't mind if I can cook and share with you too. So 2 days of the week, can I do that? And 3 days of the week, can I try what you're cooking? And tell them what you're not liking about the food. Liking in the sense, not just liking, but what's not working for you. We don't have to like everything in life. That's a hard lesson to be learned as you're graying here. You just don't have to like. Life is not all fun. The 80-20 ratio works here also. Even if you are leading your life as per your terms, doing things that you like, even then 20% of the time, it's fun time. 80% of the time, it's pain. It's like what you have to deal with to get the 20%. But that is life according to me. I don't know of anybody who has all fun. Doesn't work. I don't think it's practical. I hope that answered Rajesh to some extent. Okay, where is Rajesh? Rajesh asked me the question and dropped out. Wow, okay. Maybe his connection. Ziad is saying something. Oh no, it was Ziad. Okay, Ziad was asking. Thank you. Okay, I thought it was Rajesh. All right. Any other questions, guys? Any other thoughts? Anybody else wants to share anything about this topic that they know which I'm not covered? Maybe I don't mind having 2-3 minutes before we conclude the session. All good. So I'm going to ask you to give me a thumbs up or a thumbs down. How was the webinar? Were there some takeaways? Okay, okay. Thank you. Thank you so much. Put it in the chat box if you can. Put the thumbs up. You can also put thumbs down, and we will learn from that definitely from you next time. Wonderful, wonderful. Thank you all so much for taking your time out in the midst of festivities on a weekend. Really grateful for that, and hope to see you all again next week. And please feel free to share the invitation with your friends, colleagues, or anybody else that you feel may benefit from these webinars. And do get in touch with us if we can be of any help to do any help you with any courses or training programs or anything like that. Okay. Thank you. Thank you all so much. See you again next week.
Thank you, ma'am.
Bye.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Take care.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you all.
Thank you.
Ma'am, when can we connect back?
Okay, when can we connect back? Good question, Rajesh. Okay, let's connect on WhatsApp. And I need to look at my calendar, but we should.
Okay.
Maybe tomorrow.
Okay.
Yeah, tomorrow. I'll let you know. Thank you, Rajesh.
Bye.
All right. Bye-bye.
Thank you, ma'am.